Thank you, Chairman Frank. Mr. Lewis, you went on record recently with CNBC's Maria Bartiromo stating very publicly that the Bank of America will fully refund the taxpayers and that you expect, and I quote, that this company is going to be a thing of beauty as we get to the other side of this, and it will be the envy of the financial services industry in terms of market share. You stand by that statement? And so we can fully expect that the $45 billion in TARP funds will be repaid?
Plus $3.8 billion in interest a year.
And as well, you stated that categorically, Bank of America will not need additional government funding.
Correct.
That's correct? So that means no further TARP funds, and that means no loan guarantees?
Correct.
That also means no purchase of bad loans or toxic assets by an aggregator bank?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the program, but that would be something that would be at a market or that would be available to everyone, I would presume.
Well, these other funds may be available to everyone as well, but a purchase of a toxic asset at less than a fair value, that would be government funding to the bank, would it not?
If it were less than fair value, and that's the issue that people are dealing with, and that's why it's so complicated.
I'm pleased to see that you have this commitment to repaying the very angry and worried taxpayers that you've heard about. You certainly have set a standard here for your colleagues today, setting the bar. So I would like to ask each of you to go on record before this committee and before the public to answer the question, can each of you assure me that you will also be fully paying back the government funds, the taxpayer funds, and that you will not be back to the government again asking for money that many of us and many of our anxious and worried and angry Americans feel is corporate welfare? Or do you expect your institutions to also be things of beauty when all is said and done?
That is my expectation.
That you'll be able to pay us back?
It is my expectation.
You're not under oath, guys, so.
Yeah.
And is your expectation also that you will not need any additional infusions of government funding?
User of the FDIC program, but it's not our expectation to have assets at a higher than market value.
We categorically expect to pay back the TARP funds.
And do you anticipate a request for additional TARP funds before we get to the end of this, to the thing of beauty stage?
If it is, it won't be me.
Mr. Kelly?
And we also expect to be able to pay back the TARP funds, hopefully within 3 years, and hopefully, again, even sooner than that, and we won't need additional funding. That is not our expectation. You
will not need additional funding. Thank you. Mr. Lewis? Heard from you, Mr. Logue.
We expect to pay back the TARP funding as well, and we would expect that we would not need any other funding.
I will pay back the TARP funds, but we do use the FDIC guarantee in raising debt.
We will pay back the government, the TARP funds. I don't know what the rest of the program is going to be used for. If you come to us and say, do it this way, and by the way, that increases loans that are made, and it's also good for our shareholders, how are we going to turn that down?
We will pay back the funds at the stated interest rate, and we stated we will not, as we're positioned today, not need any more TARP funds. But I also agree with Mr. Pandit. I don't know what plans will be for the future. I don't know what is in store, but the way we see today, we can pay it back and we need no more funds.
So you may anticipate the government purchase of bad loans or toxic assets.
I don't know what the Geithner plan is going to look like. I don't know what's coming down, and but our plan is what we see today, what we know today. We need no more funds.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman from Minnesota.